Got a trivia question for you. Most people know that your first film was a bit role in a movie with Elvis Presley, but didn't you initially audition for a movie with two baseball stars?
Yeah, yeah. The first time I ever went in for a reading was a picture called Safe at Home, and it was with Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle, and there was a kid in the movie, and my dad was going to work in the movie, and came home, told me about it, and I called up his agent and said, you know, I want to get in there as a something, just so I can meet Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle. And so she got me a reading, and I went in, and I actually came out. I didn't get the job, but I came out of it, and I thought, you know, that was actually a lot of fun. And I asked my dad, you know, is that pretty much what it is? And he said, yeah, that's it. So I said, well, count me in, you know.
Well, Kurt, love the beginning of this film when you're flying a small single-engine airplane. You fly in real life.
Yep.
When you first soloed, how nervous were you?
Well, it's interesting. I was 23 hours, which is a long time. I was very slow. And I had a hard time landing the plane. I had about 15 hours. I was doing well with everything else, but I just couldn't figure out landing the plane. The coordination of it was not making sense to me. And finally, then I was getting it. When I took off for my solo, it was the first time in about 20 years that I really paid attention to something. I suddenly realized that my instructor wasn't there, and I was on my own, and that if I didn't do this right, I was going to kill myself. And just about that time, I was about 400 feet off the ground. Just about that time, I had a little bit of an air pocket, and I want to tell you something. I started talking out loud to myself. I started doing what I do in the movie. I was paying attention.
You know, I'm just wondering, do you think you'll ever get on a commercial airliner the same way? Will you be checking out other passengers as you board after?
After seeing this, yeah, no, I'm one of those people who sort of does that, especially overseas. You know, I think overseas you're more inclined to kind of, you know, that guy with the beard. You don't know. I don't know why that is. We get real suspicious, you know, for good reason. I mean, you know, there's plenty of things going on.
Some great props in this movie. I was at
Yeah.
Van Nuys one time. They had an air show. They had a stealth fighter there.
Yeah.
Huge crowds.
Yeah.
The stealth fighter they use in this movie, not a real one, but
Different. Well, it's not. It's designed. The Thomas brothers. This doesn't just come out of their head. This may exist. Nobody really. Only those would know are the ones who are working on it. But it's a stealth type airplane with this extendable thing on it. It may exist, but nobody really knows, and so we say it does. You know, we say that it is out there.
Well, how did people on the set react to the mock-up?
Well, the mock-up it's amazing. It goes 80 miles an hour, 90 miles an hour. You can, you know, I mean, it moves out. My guess is that if it had ailerons on it that were movable, you could get it off the, you'd crash it, but you could get it off the ground because you could get it going fast enough to get it off, get some airlift. But yeah, they looked at it. They said, "Boy, that's, you know, it's really a beautifully designed airplane."
And one final question. I've always been a big fan of yours, and I love seeing the Computer Wore Tennis Shoes on TBS the last couple of weeks. I've been playing a lot. When Stargate came out, the movie seemed to elevate you in a lot of people's eyes.
Hollywood's a funny place. You don't know when they're going to, why, when, or how they're going to accept you. Been around a long time. Stargate was, for some reason or other, I mean, just before that, Tombstone, I thought was a much bigger surprise. Better movie, bigger surprise. Audience, it's a cult movie. I mean, the audience just immediately. Stargate came out after that, and it did huge business in the first, when it came out. And I guess that's, these days, the mark of recognition.
Well,
And,
were you ever discouraged about your career at all in the
No,
last few years?
no, not at all. I mean, I got to be honest. As long as you can make a living in this business as an actor, you're doing good. If you make a lot of money at it, you're doing great. And if you survive for a long period of time, you're one of a handful. So, nope, consider myself fortunate. I work at it as hard as I can and try to figure out as best I can. But no different than anybody else. Never know when the run is finished. Don't care, but you know. But I enjoy working.